Dana, thanks very much. Brad Johansson alongside Ala Abdelnavi as your Saturday Overdrive continues here in New Orleans. Defending national champion UConn Huskies taking on the Tulane Green Wave in an American Conference showdown. Kevin Ollie in his third season as the Huskies head coach, and it hasn't gone his way this year. The defending champs have fallen on hard times, have lost 4 straight on the road. As we take a look at the starting lineups, Ollie, take us through what we ought to look at here.
Well, I think, again, it's going to be about the backcourt play. Ryan Boatwright for the Huskies, and you see on the other side, Dabney and Starks, 2 important guys for the Green Wave, in particular here at home.
And Ed Conroy in his 5th season here in Tulane. A young squad, struggling to score offensively, and he doesn't really have a go-to guy, but his guards are going to have to lead the way again today.
They are. They're going to have to make sure that they get good shots every time down the floor. You don't want any wasted possessions. That's playing right into UConn's hands. UConn wants to get the ball off the glass, long rebounds, get out and run. They want some easy buckets in transition. You got to limit those for the visiting team here on the road.
Strangely enough, first meeting between these 2 teams ever. Tulane played 309 different teams, 4 of them from Connecticut. UConn, 241 teams, 4 of them from Louisiana. But they get their first meeting. And Tulane hoping to make it 5 straight road defeats for UConn. Why so tough on the road for UConn this year?
Well, I think their supporting cast has not performed up to their expectations. It's always easy for your role guys to play well at home because they're in the comfort of their own support. You sleep in your own bed, but it's important for those role players on the road to step up. Ryan Boatwright simply will not be enough here this afternoon.
Happy Mardi Gras, everyone.
I'm expecting a parade to come right through the middle of the court. There's a parade going through the middle of everything else.
You've seen a few of them this week, haven't you?
No question about it.
And the weather's just about right from where we're coming from.
70 degrees outside, Brad. I'm not trying to rub it into all our viewers in the Northeast, but it is not cold.
And UConn, first possession.
It's going to be important for UConn to make sure they get the ball and have a good balance between inside and outside play. Perhaps get Brima going early, but they've got plenty of perimeter guys to play around Boatwright.
Work it down low to Brima, and he gets the roll.
Smart move by them to establish him inside. Now the defense has to pay attention to him, and it'll open up things out on the perimeter for UConn.
Stark bringing the ball up. He's been struggling with a little bit of a stomach bug. Dabney on the baseline. Stark from deep. A little better start than they had last weekend against Temple.
No question, the sophomore from Tennessee off to a really good start. Let's see whether or not they can build on that. Sometimes, Brad, the worst thing that can happen for Tulane is they make their first shot. Now they think that they're all going to go in. Still got to be judicious each time down the floor.
Boatwright double team to Facey down low. And back out high. And the buckets are falling. Daniel Hamilton with a triple.
Good ball movement inside out, and when they got the ball inside, the defense had to collapse. Hamilton was wide open for a sec, enough to get that off. Tulane being patient. Very much a different team from the team we saw last week that was impatient on the offensive end of the floor. Here, moving the ball around, trying to move the deep.
Jay Hook from about 5 feet beyond the arc. Not sure that's the shot you want. Defense from behind Hamilton. Boatwright baseline lost the handle. And it will stay with the Huskies.
Good no call. Looked like he just lost it on the way up that time. No contact. No advantage gained by Tulane. Little screen to screener for Boatwright in the corner. Surprised Tulane doesn't double team him in the corner there. I know I would.
Lost the handle again. Had it knocked away. And Boatwright gets fouled before he goes up for the shot. Get the first one on Stark.
A lot on that young man's shoulders right there on your screen. Ryan Boatwright. The fortunes of UConn really do rest on his shoulders. Perhaps a little bit too much, Brad, for the coaching staff's liking.
Hamilton into the paint. The jump stop. And another chance. Facey lost it out of bounds. It will be Greenway ball. Nothing seems to come easy for either of these teams offensively.
Well, but it's because I think both teams, neither of them have an inside presence, a guy that will command a double team. Having an inside presence and a double team guy, or double teamable guy, if you will, really does open up the floor for guys around him. Neither one of these teams have a scorer inside. Looking to post up Boat right there.
Got it down low. It will stay with a green wave. Trey Dry couldn't get it up and going, and he was out early today shooting and trying to get that mid-range jumper going for him.
And Dry with the 6-inch advantage over Boatwright. That time trying to take advantage of getting the ball nice and low in the post, unable to get it to him.
Jay Hook had it knocked away, and it will be UConn basketball. It went off the hands of Jay Hook. Can't even get it in bounds.
And great hustle by Daniel Hamilton for not giving up on a play. Look at the hustle right there. Both guys going for it. Referees reward the hustle and the ball to UConn.
Terrence Samuel out high. In now for Sam Cassell, dealing with a stress fracture in his right leg. Boatwright in and out.
Those are good shots for him. His teammates were ready for that ball to go up. They were in rebounding position, just unable to knock it down. With Tulane, you want to be patient. You want to be almost deliberate out on the floor.
Dry with a nice move to the glass, but nowhere close to the hoop. And Hamilton carried it.
And they threw a little 2-3 zone on him that time. And I'm not sure UConn was expecting it. They looked a little bit out of sorts, led to the turnover.
Kevin Ollie showing his frustration.
Well, turnovers drive all coaches crazy. I was watching his last game against ECU, and it's 2 minutes into the game. They have a turnover, and he's already gyrating on the sideline, getting very, very emotional, and there's 38 minutes left to go.
Dabney can't get it to go. Boatwright ready to run. He's got 3-on-1 and taking himself.
Smart move. He had Brima trailing that time. If he misses it, Boatwright, he had Brima for the offensive rebound. Smart decision to take it all the way to the rim.
Smith with the jump hook and gets the roll off the glass. Back in the starting lineup is Ryan Smith and Dylan Osakowski, who went last week against Temple, and I suppose because you score 8 points in the first half, you have to make some sort of change to the starting lineup.
Adjustments needed to be made.
Brima with the spin move and use the elbow. They'll call it offensive.
Well, we've got a 2-point game, and if your UConn loses a 4 in a row on the road, you want a good start. Boatwright with the finish.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, the official hangout for NCAA basketball. And by the all-new LG G3.
Plenty of traffic on Bourbon Street. Mardi Gras time. Happy Mardi Gras, folks, in New Orleans. Brad Johansson alongside Ala Abdunabi. A 2-point lead for the UConn Huskies. We saw Ryan Boatwright in transition. They'll do everything they can to make sure Ryan Boatwright ends up with the ball.
No question of ball in transition. He's the guy that the whole team is looking for, in particular before the defense on the other end gets set. Here they are in the half-court set. You see how much attention they get. He swings down to the baseline, ready to receive the pass, and right in rhythm. Defense late to get out on him again. A main cog focus on their offense at the end of the floor.
And steering the Boatwright, leading the American at 17.8. Our Buffalo Wild Wings eye tracker focuses on the man who leads the Huskies tonight. Dylan Osikowski now in. And probably will have the most minutes of their big men tonight.
But again, you mentioned that last week they struggled against Temple, so they had to make an adjustment. I didn't think he was one of the main shortcomings of that afternoon, but again, the freshman with little experience got a long way to go.
Dabney with a nice J. And if he can fill it up tonight, that'll make Ed Conroy real happy about trying to find some offense.
If they can get him and Stark on, that would be a huge plus. Again, back in the 2-3 zone. Teams play 2-3 zone, in particular Tulane, and try to limit penetration and force turnover.
Another turnover, which has been one of the problems for the Huskies.
You see, there's the good ball movement. And Dabney with a nice little step back right there. That was not an easy shot, but he made it. The problem with Tulane all year long, Brad, is that they've been taking really, really tough shots, making the game harder for themselves. They're not, at times, as bad and look as struggling as they have. It's their system that makes them look like at times inept.
Twice blocked by the Huskies on that trip. Purvis ahead of the pack.
What UConn wants to do before Tulane even gets back on defense, let's see if they can put some pressure in the full court. That time in transition, more than one guy running.
That one knocked away by Hamilton. Take it himself.
Good steal, and again, he's one of these guys. We talked about his versatility. He has the ability to take it, as we just saw, the full length of the floor, whether it's off the glass or off the steal. Hamilton showing his versatility.
Take a look at what they do in transition. UConn getting it done.
Here's the Hamilton, freshman from LA. Check that, that's Terrence Samuel. And then the pass off, and then there you are again in transition. It's Samuel finding his teammates. Good finish that time by Purvis, who's also nursing a little bit of a wrist injury. Last game, I guess, tried to bring the rim down, Brad.
Tried to bring the rim down and had something in his way. Smith now back on the floor with Osikowski. Hook from deep. What were you saying about good shot selection?
That was a tough shot. He turned the corner. The one good thing about that was he had his mind made up early. That shot was going up.
And Hamilton gets fouled. They'll call that on Stark, his second.
And a quick sub. Stark's so important. You want to keep him in there?
Well, you remember it well last weekend, don't you? I mean, it was futility at its finest.
Slim pickings on the offensive end of the floor against Temple last week, trying to right their ship here at home. Already doing a lot better than they did.
Purvis with the jump stop and gets the friendly roll. Well, 7 of those first 8 came from K-John Mack. I think the rest of the team was 0 for 17 in the first half.
I believe K-John Mack was the only one who made buckets. 3 of them, the rest of the team 0 for.
Great look to Smith down low, and he'll go to the line for the and one.
The sophomore from California, the good ball cut. Here's it, you see it getting swung. There it is on the wing, and then instead of waiting, he backdoors the guy. There's the cut and the nice pass interior. One guy looking for another.
Right on cue from Mack. He says, "Were you going to talk about me last week? Let's talk about me now."
Hey, I can pass a little too, he's saying.
Smith finishes the three-point play. We're knotted at 13.
Now it looks like Tulane's in a 3-2 defense. Again, just giving UConn something to think about.
One turnover to another. Back to back to back.
Once you hit the ground and you start sliding, that's a no-brainer for the officials. That's a traveling call.
You talk about shot selection, but it's almost ball movement selection with a lot of these guys on the floor and the decision-making that leads to some of the bad shot selection.
I think they've got to be patient, but you're right. It's where they are on the floor as well. There are places where guys like to get the ball and like to shoot, so-called sweet spots. But I think the problem is at times that the defenses that they're playing against, in particular here against UConn, that likes to pick up the speed, you get caught up in that and you rush as well on the offensive end of the floor. Got to guard against that. Be disciplined and patient, even in the midst of a lot of chaos.
Keith Pinckney out top, his first minutes. Smith with a roll and spin. Mack, triple short. Kept alive on the floor. Pinckney.
Good hustle by Tulane. First one to get to the floor, usually the one that gets the loose ball.
Purvis picks up the foul. And the Green Wave crowd appreciative here. Tulane all knotted up with the defending champs. Take it back a ways. Devlin Fieldhouse, Tulane Green Wave's home arena, funded from the 1931 football team that made a 32 appearance in the Rose Bowl. Gym known for years as the Rose Bowl Gym. Seats about 3,600 people. 9th oldest active venue. Northeastern right at the top of the list. You and I have spent some time in Rose Hill Gym a bunch of times with Fordham.
Absolutely.
It's a nice feeling here.
It is a nice feeling, and they've remodeled it as well. Something that I think for old arenas out there, it's a good example of how you can keep the framework and keep the shell of the building, and it doesn't lose any of its personality, while yet you still have all the modern amenities inside.
Josh Herlihy to inbound his first minutes now on the floor for the Green Wave. Philip Nolan in for his first minutes for the Huskies, and he picks up his first foul.
And Nolan stands at 6'10", and Pinckney saw the advantage that time and tried to take him off the dribble, forced a little foul. Nolan, a junior from Milwaukee.
Mack lost it, and another turnover, the 4th for the Green Wave. Huskies already with 5 of those TOs.
And a team like the UConn, who averages 13 turnovers a game, 5 so early in the ball game, is a troublesome point.
Purvis weaves into the paint, can't get it to go.
Got a jump stop here.
Pinckney kicked it out of bounds. So we're all knotted up at 5 turnovers apiece. The frustration for both coaches in this area all year long has been something they try to correct, and the guys can't seem to get to that point.
And we saw the replay that time. He was going up against 3 defenders for UConn that were running back. He really had very little options on the offensive end, and yet decided to press the issue nonetheless.
10 of the Huskies' 13 have come in the paint. 6 of those on fast break points.
Good hedge that time by Osakowski.
Punched away by Pinckney. 4 on the clock. Boat right as Pinckney falls. Can't get it. Nice defense by the Green Wave.
Looked like the Michael Jordan push-off on Brian Russell that time. Got to take that shot. You got to at least be a threat and look at the rim, even if you are a freshman. Good cut, good pass.
Oh, Herlihy. Nice look down. The sophomore from Los Angeles with 2.
How about one California boy to another? LA, the recipient, the passer, San Juan Capistrano.
You don't get a whole lot of guys from that area.
You sure don't. I like the ring of it, though.
And offensive.
Take a look at it again on the offensive end of the floor. Good back cut. Osakowski with the look and the easy finish that time. Good ball movement on the other end of the floor.
Well, you caught a great hedge on him the time down before. Then a nice stance to pull the offensive.
Big fella at 6'9", 255, moving his feet a little bit there, B.
Is he taking offense to not being in the starting lineup tonight?
You know what? He's trying to prove Coach Conroy that he does belong out there on the floor. Coach, it wasn't me, and I certainly wasn't the reason why we lost Temple. You got to get me back in.
Took him 23 minutes to get to double figures last week. Took him only 6.5 tonight. Smith with the triple spin move and all air. In the paint again.
That's a tough shot. He's a talented young man, is Hamilton. Made that one look easy when Brad it was anything but.
Yeah, it looked pure. Stepped on the baseline. And another turnover for the Green Wave.
Silky smooth. There he is, Daniel Hamilton. Nothing but the bottom of the net. Again, beats the defense, gets right into the heart of the lane. And a little soft touch from about 10 feet.
Yeah, if you can get under control on that jump stop, it looks a lot easier once you're in midair. If you float as long as he can float.
You're absolutely right. And again, he did the good thing. Fundamentally, went straight up and down. Much tougher to find and locate the rim when you're going sideways or backwards. That time, up and down, gave his shot a chance to go in.
Samuel Black on the floor.
UConn's got to do a better job of hitting those gaps. What are gaps against the zone? It's the spaces between defenders. You've got to make sure that you hit those hard. There's a good cut.
Great look from Brima. Samuel just missed it. Herlihy other end. Doesn't want to go up against Brima and turned it over. Boatwright. That's a pretty good decision.
Smart move that time. Boatwright looked like he had an opportunity to get it to the rim, but instead pulled it back out, waited for the bigs who were running to come up, and that time it was Brima with the finish.
Well, you talk about Boatwright leading the break and making the decisions. He does it well.
Again, careless with the ball. Here they are running. He pauses for a sec, waits for Brima. And Brima with the finish. This time coming at you. Brima bringing it down. Again, we talked about how, Brad, they struggle at times shooting the basketball, in particular in crunch situations. What's a good thing to replace that, take a little bit of the pressure off? By scoring in transition.
Got 8 of those points of their 17 now in transition, and Boatwright leading the way with that. Two-point lead for the Huskies in pressing. Get it across the drive, but he's in trouble.
It's a bad place to pick it up as well. You were easily double-teamed in that position on the floor. UConn right now looking to pick up their D a little bit more, adding good ball pressure.
Herlihy from deep.
The only one that was playing off of his man was Brima, and he almost dared Herlihy into shooting that. Well, he's got that in his range.
Green Wave by 1. And he walked. Boy, the turnovers are coming fast and furious. Kevin Ollie frustrated. Tulane looking for offense. Go deep. Give it to number 11. You're going to give it to me? I'll drain it. Green Wave by 1. Welcome back to New Orleans. Hey, get the fastest scores, updates, UConn, Tulane, all the teams. CBS Sports app, fastest app for sports fans. Download the CBS Sports app now. Huskies have been running it fast. As a matter of fact, that's where all their points are coming from, at least most of them.
10-0 advantage in fast break points, and you can see why. UConn, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, wants to get out and run. They don't want to wait for the defense to settle and have all 5 guys there. They'd rather score against 3 or 2. Right now, on the front foot, UConn 10-0 advantage.
Doing a little something with their turnovers. 7-7 on each side, except UConn's been able to convert.
They've got 4 points off of those 7 turnovers you mentioned. Here's the secret on the road. You've got to make sure that you limit your turnovers. Value the basketball, in other words. Get good shots. And then on the other end, on defense, limit your team, your opponent, to 1 shot only. You don't want to give up offensive rebounds. Right now, UConn is trying to use that formula to get them a win here on the road. Ooh, he walked.
You think he did?
Absolutely walked.
Dragged the foot?
Dragged the foot, and he put the ball down. He didn't put the ball down while his feet were shuffling.
Step back, Boatwright.
Boy, that is smooth and easy. Defense just gives him a little bit of space, a taller defender on him, a little step back, He's been watching Kemba Walker and Shabazz Napier for years. Picking up little things, and why not from them two?
There you see it, 3 ties, 6 lead changes. Dry has it swatted. Ahead to Samuel. Finish, can't do it.
And it was the good hustle back by Jay Hook that kind of distracted him. Didn't block it, but it was enough to have him forced to miss.
Purvis from the corner.
You don't have numbers. Good decision by Dabney to pull it back out. See them now calling out plays, trying to get on the same page.
Hook on the wing.
One-on-one, no double teams coming. Got to make a move. Good pump
Dabney
fake.
with a head fake. No call as Boatwright comes down on his back. And Bryman takes the loose ball.
You're going to have to explain to me how that was not a foul. Did everything right that time. Did Dabney. Got a pump fake, got his defender up in the air. Good. That mystifying no call there.
Swallowing the whistles of late. An air ball from 4 feet away, and finally we get a whistle. And this one will go against UConn. I think they got Bryman.
And here's the block by Bryman, and they're off and running the pass ahead. Sammy just cannot finish the play that time. But you see the hustle by Hook getting back, just enough of a distraction.
Have we talked about the frustration points enough for both of these coaches?
Well, I can tell you this much. Ed Conroy and Kevin Ollie are acquiring gray hair as we speak right now. Both teams, Brad, kind of sloppy.
That's a bunch of blocks.
And you see that again, not known for scoring. They don't need him to put the ball in the basket, but he is the last line of defense. And what that does, knowing that you have a guy like Bryman back there, is it forces all the perimeter players. It lets them know that they can put a little bit more ball pressure, because if they get beat and the guy goes to the basket, Bryman's back there to block shots and to be that last line of defense.
Into the bonus. Stride gets the roll on the first. Yeah, Bryman now second in the AAC in blocks. 20th in the country. Got them both. Got to get the free ones, and those are nice from Dry, who's only a 57% free throw shooter. Knotted up again as we close in on 5.5 in the first half here at Devlin. Purvis. Jump stop and one more walk.
And he was trying to elude the double team. Again, we talked earlier about hitting the gaps, going between the two defenders. Well, he traveled on his way through the path through two defenders.
Kevin Ollie's face says it all, doesn't it?
Oh, you look over at him, that's a pained grimace right there, and he's barking at his players. Again, nothing makes a coach go crazy more than not caring for the basketball. Tulane being quite patient. That's their 5th pass in this offensive exchange. Guys moving without the basketball. That time, Mack coming and making himself available as a pressure release. Don't have a lot of time. Got to be quick about it.
Counting down. And can't get one off. 1 second remains on the shot clock. It will stay with Tulane.
Good defense by Nolan that time to move his feet and not foul.
So Dabney will inbound.
That's a 6'10" guy, Brad, moving his feet like a guard out there.
Osakowski.
Well, with very little time on the shot clock, that's one of the only options that they had. The freshman that time gets a screen in the middle of the lane and just outstretched arms. Nobody can get up as high as him with the easy finish. If you're UConn, that's the kind of plays that are very frustrating, because you know that they have to get rid of it quickly. No time to run a play, and yet they give up an easy one.
Another turnover. Osakowski with the rebound. Dabney got fouled. You thought 21 may have got one.
I thought Osakowski got fouled as well, but Dabney coming in, not giving up on the play. Here's the inbounds play. Quick hitter, 1 second left on the shot clock. UConn, there's not much they can do in that 1 second. Has to be a quick hitter. UConn caught napping that time.
Dabney to the line. He'll get 2. Short on the first.
Coach Ali right now, he is in his players' ears. This time, Omar Calhoun, and Omar walks over to the other side of the court. Doesn't want to hear it anymore.
He's done.
Said, Coach, you got to leave me alone. Got a game to play.
3-point lead for the Green Wave as we approach 4 minutes. And their largest lead of the game.
Back in their 2-3 zone. Whoa.
Hook hits the ground hard. Jumps right back up.
Gets up even quicker.
Dabney to the rim. Short.
Pull it back out.
Henson's pushed by Boatwright, no whistle.
UConn being very, very physical, in particular guarding ball handlers.
Offensive foul. Hook looked like he lost it, but dumped it off to Osakowski, who dumped it in. It won't count. Tulane Green Wave, a 3-point lead, 3:37 in the first. Hey, this weekend, college basketball is teaming up with Autism Speaks to raise awareness of autism. It affects 1 in 68 children in the U.S. Coaches, broadcasters, officials, all wearing Autism Speaks blue puzzle piece pins. Fans can learn more by visiting autismspeaks.org/coachpower. There you see the pins on Coach Ollie.
Hey!
Jim Calhoun in the house.
I know that guy.
Vice President with Autism Speaks Committee.
And don't be fooled by that expression. He's a much nicer person and a lot funnier than that face will ever give up any information. He's great.
You get known for that face after a while.
Heck of a coach, and what a heck of a time and tenure that he had at UConn. I hate to say resurrected, practically created that program.
Yes, he did. Mack gets the foul. Work down low. And another turnover.
Good defense by Osakowski, holding his position that time. And you saw Nolan try to make a nice little spin dribble. Osakowski wasn't having any of it. Didn't give any ground. Turnover.
Did Calhoun transfer the face over to Kevin Ollie? Is that part of the deal?
I think it's the way his team's playing that's forcing that face this afternoon. Hey, here's an interesting stat. UConn being out-rebounded by 7 right now with no offensive rebound. So credit to Tulane for doing a good job and finishing the defensive exchange.
You see Calhoun and Ollie. First 2 seasons under both.
Pretty comparable there.
A little bit more of a struggle for Jim Calhoun to get out of the game.
No question. And you think about Calhoun coming from Northeastern prior to his stint at UConn, where he coached the late, great Reggie Lewis, one of my former teammates in Boston.
Boatwright rises. When he decides he wants to create a shot, he can pretty much do it at will.
And folks, right now he's shooting 42% from the field, 43 from the arc, beyond the arc. So why not let a guy like that, especially when he's always under control, doesn't look like he's hurrying any of his shots, always in the rhythm of the offense.
Work down low and 1. Pinckney with a bucket.
And Samuel, I believe, got caught. Yes, it was Samuel. Napping on the baseline. Good back door.
Well, that's a great pass from Henson.
Absolutely is. Guys looking for one another. Sometimes basketball can be that simple right there, Brad, where you just move without the basketball. Guys do a good job looking for you. More often than not, good things can happen. Right now, Tulane is doing a good job of scoring the basketball because they're not forcing anything. They're taking what's available right now, and they're being very, very selfish. in the way that they're conducting their offense. What do I mean by that? They're not coughing up quick threes, making UConn play some D.
Pinckney had a chance to go above his average by collecting the three-point play. Couldn't get it done. The lead is 3. Boatwright rises again.
Wow. There's really not much you can do about that. If you're Jay Hook, you were all over him. You weren't playing off of him. You knew he was going to shoot. I think everybody in the building knew he was going to shoot that. But he elevates so quickly.
Toe on the line. They only gave him 2. Dabney working on Purvis.
Keep it simple, young man.
Henson. Dabney with 6. Rises and fires. Not his shot. Boatwright on the run. He lays it short.
Going up against the bigger, stronger Dabney. Ball just was a little bit too short at the finish.
Purvis. Couldn't do anything about that because Dabney just turns around and drains it.
Quick move that time. He got low enough position where he felt like, I know where I am out on the floor. I'm just going to turn and get a quick shot up. Really wasn't a lot of motion in that movement. Nice and efficient from the baseline. Tulane right now up 3, Brad. They want to finish this defensive exchange, go into the locker room with some momentum, feeling good about their game as they ponder the second half.
With 5 on the shot clock and air ball. Hamilton saves. Dabney on the run. Doesn't have the numbers and turns it over. 30 on the clock.
And I understand that Dabney was trying to put pressure on the defense, but you've got to pull it back out if there's nothing there.
Coming up on AT&T at the half, Dana Jacobson, Seth Davis, Kerry Kittles, and John Rothstein. All standing by to get you caught up on the world of college hoops. Plus, first half highlights and stats from here in New Orleans. It's all coming up on AT&T at the half. Take a look at some of the news and notes from today. Kentucky looking to go to 23-0, the only undefeated team remaining. Well, after losing Briante Weber, big loss for VCU. They get a buzzer beater at St. Bonnie today. Syracuse earlier in the week with a self-imposed postseason ban, and
yeah,
I like Duke today.
Yeah, I like that bottom one.
Your boys?
I didn't see that one coming at all.
Goodness.
In particular in the way Notre Dame played only 10 days ago. They were dominant in South Bend. To have a 30-point margin, no, Brad, I did not see that coming. However, I will take it.
You were kind of pleased by it.
No question about it.
Shot clock's off. Both teams with 10 turnovers in the first half. Green Wave with a 3-point lead.
If you're Tulane right now, you do not want to foul any shooters or guys who are driving. Just get a hand up and block out.
Purvis can't get it to go. Perfect. The rebound. And Tulane will head to the locker room with a 3-point lead. Is Ed going to be happy heading to the locker room?
No question about it. Again, you don't know what to expect coming in. You're struggling as a team, playing the defending national champions. This is a good sign.
That's a number he likes. 55-15 with the lead. Coming up at the break. AT&T at the half. You're watching Saturday Overdrive on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Tulane Green Wave by 3. We're back after this. Hey, welcome back to Devlin Fieldhouse in New Orleans. Tulane with a 3-point lead. Brad Johansson alongside Ala Abdel-Nabi. I want to let you know, Mississippi State scored 9 points in the first half against Arkansas today. That's not as bad as Tulane was last week against Temple when they scored 8. This is their first lead at the break in their last 7 games. Why?
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're playing both ends of the floor better than we've seen them all season long. On the offensive end of the floor, getting good shots, not forcing the ball over as well. No unforced errors that led to UConn's runouts. And then on the other end of the floor, doing a good job of defending and finishing the exchange. UConn, 0 offensive rebounds.
Goodness.
Plus Tulane's bench playing well also. They've got an 8-point advantage, 12-4.
Huskies on the fast break early on.
Yeah, and again, they were looking to get out in transition, get some easy buckets, take a little pressure off of their half-court set. There's Bryma with the finish off the pass from Boatwright, but it was the freshman from California, Dylan Osikowski, who did the little things and then some. There's the pass on the back door, the nice finish inside, and then with the shot clock running down, the soft touch with the quick hitter from out of bounds underneath.
Take a look at our first half stats. You talk about those fast break points and the rebounds that you mentioned. 0 for the Huskies on the offensive end.
Now doing a very good job is Tulane in finishing the defensive exchanges. The defense isn't over until you garner the rebound.
9 different players score in the first half after only putting up 8 last week. I think we've about run that 8 into the ground by now, haven't we?
I know Coach Conroy certainly wants to put it in his rear view mirror, no doubt about that. And with more afternoons like this and more displays and performances like this, I believe that might be a distinct possibility.
Well, I asked him this morning, who off the bench is going to help you? And he kind of shook his head and said, I really don't know. In his first half, he's got 12 points off the bench.
Yep, and the thing about it is when you're young and inconsistent, you really don't know who to rely on. This is what coaches want when they put players in. They want to absolutely know what they're going to get out of a guy every time he enters a ball game. Consistency is paramount right now, and I think you're seeing both of these two teams struggle in that area.
Stark picked up 2 quick fouls, had to spend most of the half on the bench. Nice dish down low to Smith, and he walked.
Looked like there was an awful lot of contact that time, especially from behind. Rodney Purvis was reaching in on Osikowski.
Conroy is saying the same thing.
Yep, check that. That was not Osikowski, it was Ryan Smith. Back in a 3-2 zone. 2 bigs down low for the Tulane Green Wave are Dry and Smith.
Hamilton with a dump down to Bryma, and he got fouled. Mark Whitehead, Keith Kimball, Brent Dugas, our referee crew today.
4 across the baseline here. Look for a screen to screener or the quick dump in and the handoff. There it is.
Boatwright down to Bryma, couldn't hang on. And we start the second half like we started the first.
Another unforced error that time. And if you're Bryma, rule number 1 for bigs in the lane, you got to keep your hands up, Brad. When you've got guys like Boatwright looking to dime all the time.
He looked surprised, didn't he?
He did. He did not expect that pass to come towards him. I don't know why, though. He was right under the basket in a scoring position. You always got to be ready.
Stark with a head fake. Did he call bank?
I don't know. It's Saturday afternoon. The banks might be closed, but here in Tulane, they're open.
Their largest lead at 5.
I believe this 3-2 zone that Tulane has implemented from the course of the game has really posed some problems for UConn. They've tried to play around it as opposed to getting in the middle, which is what they did on that last exchange right there.
And Hamilton may have gotten away with a walk before that first step, but yeah, you talk about a late night banking.
Don't go to the ATM. The bank is still open. Off the glass.
Dry picks up his second foul. Hamilton heads to the line for his 8th point.
All the talent in the world, this young man from LA, the freshman, 6'7".
18:30 mark of the second half, that's UConn's first free throw.
Again, it's a lot to do with Tulane playing really good defense without fouling. But let's face it, against that 3-2 zone, we mentioned it, UConn very content to operate around the perimeter. The reason why they're not getting fouls is because they're not penetrating into the heart of the D. If you're Tulane, you tell your guys on defense, don't foul jump shooters, and certainly no penetrations.
Dabney trying to get some offense going.
Guys got to move. There's 5 stagnant guys out on the floor. That's a killer.
Start for 3. Can you say bail out?
You took the words right out of my mouth. Looked like it was a horrible offensive exchange. Going to come away with very little, and they come away with 3.
Purvis into the paint. Looks like he lost the handle. Offensive foul.
And Dry giving up his body for the benefit of the team. Take a look at the last three. Nobody on him. I'm shooting it. And then here's the drive. And you see the nice charge taken that time by Trey Dry.
Dabney on the wing, Hamilton on him, takes him into the paint, dumps it off. Smith on the block. Working on Bryma, had it blocked.
Smith did not create any space for himself to get that shot off. Went right into Bryma's arms.
Dry had it blocked again by Bryma, right at the rim. Samuel the other way.
A little hectic exchange there, back and forth. UConn, though, the beneficiary of some chaos out on the floor. How about Bryma with that block? Dry thought he was going to use the rim as a protector. No way can a defender get there. Well, Bryma anticipated just that and was ready for him with the little deflection.
Hook, dump, Smith. Bryma was there and he threw the shot off. 3 consecutive possessions. Bryma has stopped the green wave. Bryma with the tap and collected by Hook.
And if you're Smith on that last exchange, you've got to go into Bryma's body. What shot blockers want is space so they can get the timing of your shot down. When you shorten that space and you put your body on Bryma, good things can happen. Either you'll get the shot off or the foul, or Brad, hopefully both.
Offensive frustration again on both ends.
You can see a little pickup in UConn's defense, in particular in the half-court set.
Stark step back inside the arc. That's off. And a foul on UConn over the back.
And the visiting team, UConn, loses a 4 in a row. Down, trying to get back in this game. How? Via the defense. Bryma, last line of defense.
Defending national champs in danger of doing something that doesn't happen a whole lot. That's missing the dance the year after. You see the numbers since 1985. Kentucky did it in 2013. It's a very big one for a tournament resume for these guys, and it's kind of iffy right now, isn't it, Olive?
No question about it. Dayton is a good win. Florida, I don't know if that's a good win anymore with the way Florida's been struggling. But the bad losses, Yale and at Houston, those are troublesome losses in that they were lost opportunities. But they've got their conference tournament, which happens to be in Hartford. So I think that's a huge advantage for them. If they wound up winning that, you can see them in the tournament.
Well, you say wind up winning. You're almost saying they must do that.
No question. They've got to win their conference tournament. Way too inconsistent right now, and I don't see them righting their ship.
And a foul call. This one, I think they got Philip Nolan. Picked up his 3rd. You see the fast break points. Tulane with none of them. Tulane's gathered some points in the paint after being down 10-0 early.
Not a lot of them on post-ups, but on good cuts and guys looking for one another.
Stark thought he had one, though. Sikowski.
Throw it up to the big guy. Make him go get it. Throw it where no one else but him can catch it.
Boat right. He is the second-half man.
He's exploded on several occasions in the second half. Perhaps he spends most of the first half trying to engage his teammates, get them involved in the ball game, confident in the fact that he knows when the game is on the line, he's going to be able to step up and have the ball in his hand.
As the Huskies back within 2. Hook buries the jumper. They needed offense badly.
They've got a couple exchanges without scoring. That was a huge bucket for them. Back into their 3-2 zone. Let's see whether or not UConn, who's been turnover prone here, 2 more turnovers in the second half, can get up a good shot.
Hamilton had it knocked away and they'll call a foul from behind.
And you got to wonder, Brian Boatwright's been quiet thus far. Is this the basket, Brad, that gets him going? Defense, try to go underneath. Can't give him that kind of room. Too deadly.
You take a look at what he's done over the last 5 games in the second half. That's deadly.
Reminds me of Marcus Page, who also is known for performing in the second half, the point guard for Carolina. I think both of these teams would like to see their point guards, Boatwright and Page, put 2 halves together.
You bet. Need one from Boatwright now. Inside 14.5. He drives, and Kevin Ollie with a big clap saying that's what I'm looking for.
Well, what he did there was he really turned the corner and exploded. Osakowski, who earlier in the game did a good job of hedging him, just was not quick enough because Boatwright had his mind made up. He was going to turn that corner awfully hard.
Each team with 14 fouls here in the second half. Hamilton working on Herlihy. Didn't get the call. And a foul here.
You know, Brad, it is close to the Oscars right now. And there's a little bit of acting, I believe.
He did get a little forearm. But I will give it to you. That was a little bit of a flop.
And Herlihy's probably 45 pounds heavier than him.
Mack picked up the foul.
Finish this exchange if you're Tulane. Do not foul jump shooters. Good defense that time.
And as Herlihy comes down with it, still 0 offensive rebounds for UConn. Stark can't get it to go. They get it on the defensive glass.
That's a surprising stat, 0 for UConn, because they do have athletic guys who hit the glass.
Brima can't get the roll, but he'll go to the line. And it's Fahey instead of Brima. My mistake. Brima sitting down after he did the block party.
Facing a sophomore from Jamaica. Shoots 71% from the free throw line, so he's adept at knocking them down.
Sophomore gets the first. And Monday at 9 Eastern, CBS Sports Network. Up close with Mike Krzyzewski in a conversation about his great success, what it's like to be the man with the most wins in Division I history. Northwest Mutual presents NCAA Men of March. Mike Krzyzewski, Monday, 9 o'clock, right here on the CBS Sports Network. 1 of 2 for Facey.
Good cut by Herlihy.
Behind the back from Osakowski.
A little fancy there with the back behind the back pass, but he got the job done. Here's at the elbow. Look at the curl. The cut, I should say, with the behind the back pass. A little trickery from the California native.
They may be looking at this as a flagrant foul on Facey. So we may have to take a look at it again. Down low, the extra motion. Is this flagrant?
There's the cut.
Ooh. Elbow on top of the head.
Looked like he got the elbow, but the swipe of the hand looked to me like he was trying to play the ball and just wound up hitting his head. I think that's a regular, good, hard foul.
Normal basketball play?
That's a normal basketball play there.
The excessive contact, pushing or holding a player from behind, you don't see any of that.
No, I do not, and I think intent had a lot to do with it. And his intent on that play, in my opinion, was to play the basketball.
All right, one more look as they come back out.
There's a great cut with the behind-the-back pass. And it was an awkward swipe, no question about it. But officials, I think, are seeing it the same way. Just a regular 2-shot foul.
There you go. Herlihy to the line. 6'8" guard looking for his 6th point of the evening. Only a 40% free throw shooter.
And this is a team that shoots 67% as a unit. Not great numbers, but not bad. Got to make those.
Stark saves it to Mack. Got it back to Stark.
That's a tough place to get it. Got to get it out of the corner.
Dumped it down and off the foot of Nolan. It will stay with Tulane.
Take a look and see who touched that. Looked like the referee's got that one right.
Right through the wickets of Osakowski. 28 left on the shot clock for Tulane.
Last time they threw it up to Osakowski. Let's see what they do now. Much more time on the shot clock than last.
Turnover.
Numbers for UConn.
Hamilton dump off. Offensive foul.
Could have been either one of two. Could have been the charge. It looked to me like as soon as he got the basketball, he took 2 quick steps. Let's see it again. There it is, the little shuffle.
Agree with the call?
Well, I agree with the fact that Tulane is getting the ball back.
Just because of the decision making?
Exactly. I'm not quite sure that I would have agreed with that call, but either way, the karma of the basketball gods are in the right direction.
Hey, I don't know whether that counts officially, but we'll mark that down on the stat sheet. Henson back on the floor.
Got him one-on-one at the elbow. Nice.
Dabney had it blocked.
He had an advantage game there with the smaller guy on his back. Could have been better served just to shoot that little elbow jump shot. Put the ball on the floor and dribbled into traffic.
Boatwright, step back, can't get the roll, and that won't count as an offensive rebound.
Give Tulane credit. This is an athletic, long UConn team, in particular with some players like Brima out on the floor. And they've done a good job finishing every defensive exchange by grabbing the rebound. Ooh, that time Samuel was sleeping there. Ball zipped right by his chin.
Stark with 4 on the clock. Into the paint. Has to throw up a wild shot. Purvis the other way. Got the roll.
More buckets for UConn in transition.
The lead is 1.
With this run, oh, same play again with the back door.
Henson can shoot that. Takes it in, lost the handle, turnover again. Samuel the other way. And the Huskies back in front. Have we talked about decision making enough? Turnovers, back to back. Fast break, Purvis gets the roll one way. And then Henson wouldn't take the shot, lost the ball, finish. Huskies by 1. 1-point lead for the Huskies, 11:23 to go in the second. And coming up next, Road to the Final Four continues on CBS Sports Network. USF squares off against Octavius Ellis and the resurgent Cincinnati Bearcats, only on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. You take a look at the standings in the American. How about Tulsa and what they've done this year?
And Frank Haith in a short period of time has really changed the culture there, the way they play. Winning basketball for Tulsa these days. Pretty impressive stuff for a guy who literally just got there.
Yeah, big game for Cincinnati. Chris Atterbury, Steve Wolf, Lauren Gardner on the call. Coming up right after us.
I still like SMU's chances down the stretch here. We talked about how UConn has to win the conference tournament. I would not be surprised to see Larry Brown's team with the adversity that they've had, losing Mudley at the beginning of the year. Then you talk about Frazier as well.
Right.
Marcus Kennedy going out with some academic issues. I think that this team right now has got enough chips on its shoulder that they use it against, hey, it's us against the world. And I think they're all going to be on the same page, if I know Larry Brown, come tournament time.
Had a good 8-game run that was stopped by Cincinnati this week. So the Bearcats would like to make a run of their own. Tulane needs a run. Last 4 to the Huskies. They have a 1-point lead with the press.
You see them picking up full court now. Again, trying to speed up Tulane on the offensive end of the floor, put him in situations they're unaccustomed to. Hopefully that'll lead to turnovers, bad shots. Let's see how Tulane handles the pressure.
So now coming up on 4 minutes without a point for the Green Wave.
Turn and face. Look at the basket.
Gun shy on the block is Osakowski. He wheels in with 3 on the clock and basically throws it away.
Looked like he lost his balance on that drop step, trying to drop that foot to the baseline. And when he did, lost control of his body, led to the turnover.
Hamilton from deep.
Ooh, Osakowski had a good block out. Thought that was an over the back there.
It's still 0 on this side for UConn.
Nolan got away with one. Could have been easily an over the back call. Referees decided to let it go. Little 4 around the baseline here for Tulane. Biggs trying to set cuts, set screens, I should say. Osakowski and Dry get their perimeter players open. That's a tough place to pick your dribble up.
Does that have to do with decision making? Have we talked about that at all? Only 7 points in the second half for Tulane. They trail by 1 with 10:03 to go. Back in New Orleans, 10:03 to go. UConn with a 1-point lead over Tulane. Struggling offense now in the second half. We saw them open it up a little bit in the first half, gain some confidence. The momentum has swung now in the favor of the UConn Huskies, simply because it's been over 4.5 minutes now for Tulane without a point.
And UConn is taking advantage of it by also getting runouts. Right now, Brad, the advantage in fast break points is startling. 18-0 in favor of the UConn Huskies over the Green Wave. Tulane just limited right now in runouts, unable to get some easy buckets in transition.
They have officially given UConn 1 offensive rebound. They give it to Nolan. The only time I can remember is that tap out.
That's had to be with the only one that anybody got close to.
Stark is deep on his triple. Purvis on the run. And he missed the bunny.
Point blank range there. Purvis did everything well on that exchange, eluding the defenders, just unable to finish.
Jay Hook for 3. And the drought has ended.
Third in Tulane history in made threes is Jay Hook. And just in time, after, as you mentioned, quite a lengthy drought scoring.
Our 9th lead change of the game. Samuel had it knocked away. A fortuitous bounce. And Nolan lays it in.
Nolan coming back, grabbing his back as well. It looks like he's grimacing in a little bit of pain. Something to keep our eye on. Guys like Dry are certainly going to lean on him. Ryan Smith as well.
Our 5th tie of the evening. Hook. Heat check. Can't get it. Henson the rebound.
Great hustle by Smith.
Henson for 2.
Take that, it's Henson. I'm giving credit to the wrong guy, partner.
Smith would love to take those points. He hasn't seen a whole lot of time on the floor.
Peyton Henson, the sophomore from Arkansas. 6'8", 220. Using every bit of that body on that last exchange. Still in the 3-2 zone. And it's given UConn trouble, in particular in the half-court set.
Crowd is alive here at Devlin. Boatwright, step back, tough shot. Got his own rebound and got fouled.
One of the few times Tulane doesn't block out. And it's the smallest guy on the floor who gets the offensive rebound. Ryan Boatwright. There's the last 2 buckets. There's Hook from the corner after going a long time without scoring. Tulane gets it, and then here's Henson with the nice finish off the hustle, grabbing the loose ball.
They've had their big men with a bunch of hustle points today, has Tulane.
They have not been shy of getting to the floor early.
Boatwright with a good roll for his 12th point of the evening.
He shoots 82% from the field. So they're more or less automatic, and more importantly, he's been in big game situations before. Tough to rattle the senior.
Osakowski back on the floor, along with Pinckney for Tulane. As Stark and Dry sit.
Partner, you and I did not know what to expect coming into this ball game. We've certainly got more than our share of fun in a well-played game. And we've still got 8 minutes left to go. I expect it to be even better. Tie ball game.
Looking forward to the last 8 minutes. I don't think either of the coaches knew what they were going to get coming into this one. Knotted up again.
See now the patience again for Tulane. That's 4 passes, 5 on this last exchange. Had the cutter that time. Opted not to give it to him. Good finish. That was not an easy finish that time. So much focus was paid on the ball handler, and yet he does the little drive in traffic, bodies all over the place, and somehow gets it on the glass.
Jay Hook suddenly finding some confidence now in double figures. Both right from deep. Tapped back out to 11. Hamilton with the dump. And the foul called on the floor. They may give him a shooting foul. Osikowski picks it up.
It's a 2-point ball game. Everything counts. Jay Hook, the senior, knocks it in.
Let's recap the AT&T game summary.
You look at the percentages. UConn shot 47 at halftime. Those numbers are down a little bit here in the second half. But again, I think you look at the fast break points. That is certainly what's keeping UConn in this ball game. But as of late, Tulane seems to be more patient on the offensive end of the floor. Down the stretch, Brad, that's exactly the approach that they have to maintain.
Winning the game on the boards, 29-22 to this point. 12-24 in the last 4 games, and tonight at 16:56.
You see the gray hair on that man right there on the bench.
And you know why?
That doesn't happen overnight. Those are years and years of hard
work for those.
Yeah, you got to earn those. But coaching is you're a different animal when you sit on those sidelines. It takes a special person to be a leader of young men.
Nolan missed both freebies. Chance to tie it. We're inside 7 minutes to go.
He's backdoored pass. I should say behind the back. There it is again.
Oh, you called it, partner.
You can just see Osikowski almost biding his time and gaining a little bit of space as he dribbles up. Look at how much spacing is there on that baseline. Great read by Dabney. A good 2-man game. There's the back cut and the finish. Not much UConn can do right there. Samuel lifts up his arms in frustration.
He had his back turned.
He did. He was trying to deny out on the wing. And when you overplay like that, what you're taught on the offensive end is make that sharp back cut. Make him be honest. That time, the overplay made them pay.
5-point lead for the Green Wave on that big swing. 2 missed free throws and a 3-point play. Corner. Purvis drains it. Desperately needed for the Huskies.
And Henson's got to do a better job of closing out. I know it's not easy if you're 6'8", 220 to get out there and close out on a perimeter guy, but you've got to contest shots. Cannot give UConn, who is fighting to get back in this ball game, open looks.
Osikowski with some move. Swatted by Brima one more time.
And you've got to go dunk that if you're Osikowski, because Brima wants to pin it on the glass. The only way Brima can't get to it is if you turn that over and you punch it down. Here it is again. He's looking for the glass. So is Brima. They meet at the glass. He's complaining about how the ball may have touched the rim first, looking for a goaltending. That's a good block right there. Osikowski has to turn that over and dunk that.
That is a career high 8th block of the game for Brima.
And it's what he does. So if you're Osikowski, you got the scouting report. No surprises.
Would have been 9, but they called the foul. Kevin Ollie not fond of the call. That's his 4th.
He's important for this team. Doesn't score a lot, does Brima. Only with 4 points here tonight. But it's his defensive presence and the ability to grab defensive rebounds and finish those exchanges.
Freebies getting missed all over. Hook misses the first. Brima will have to sit now as Nolan comes back in. Brima averaging 10 points a game, 5 rebounds, and we talked about his blocks. Almost 3 blocks a game, and now at 8 right now.
And Nolan, his replacement, same body type, different kind of game. In other words, Nolan's a little bit more of a scorer, more fluid. Brima, defensive stopper, and a presence whenever a shot goes up.
Samuel may have gotten away with an extra step and then got a foul. I think he lost his momentum, may have lost the ball, got a little hop step.
And one of the many good things that happen when you penetrate those gaps, hit those gaps between the defenders, it forces the defense to collapse and stop ball penetration.
They got Henson on that foul. Now 9th team foul on the Green Wave. Tonight at 10 Eastern, CBS Sports Network. Steel gates fly open. Most unpredictable 8 seconds in sports. PBR built Ford Tough Series Anaheim Invitational, 10 o'clock, right here on the CBS Sports Network.
A couple of weeks back, they were at Madison Square Garden. No, check that. I believe they were in a New York City area. And now they're taking the show out west. You said Anaheim.
Oh, the show goes everywhere.
It does.
1 of 2 from the stripe. 2-point game. Huskies giving it away from the charity.
Double team that and trap it in the corners. Isolation here, trying to go one-on-one.
Henson baseline, Hamilton the other way.
That's a tough ass to try to take Nolan out on the perimeter. Nolan's quicker.
He's smooth in the air. You wouldn't have called that a great choice, though, would you?
Hamilton makes the hard impossible look effortless and easy. That was not an easy shot by any stretch of the imagination.
Here we go again at 5:03. We're all knotted up, and this is silky smooth. He likes going airborne.
The LA freshman, you see it right there, 3 defenders. What does he do? Instead of penetrate, he pulls right up. Silky smooth.
Yeah, that's all right.
He'll take it. He's seen worse.
Well, we talked about Brima down low. He's been a difference maker at the rim, as he usually is.
The last line of defense, he contests almost every shot in the lane and some outside the lane as well, and it leads to them in their runouts. He's an important instigator on the defensive end of the floor because his defense leads to their good offense.
That career high with 8 blocks. Sitting on the bench now with 4 fouls.
I don't think it probably took me a month, Brad, to get 8 blocks. So to have that in one afternoon with 5 minutes left to go, a tip of the cap to you, young fella. That's impressive.
That's a nice night. We've had a little bit of everything in this one.
Coach K played a game once where he told us he took 8 charges. I'm not believing that one either.
Still don't believe that?
No. We tell him to his face we don't believe it either.
Dry on the baseline, had that knocked away.
Numbers.
Boatwright corner with the head fake to the rim and 1.
And that's why he's so good, because Brad, he could have easily settled for that jump shot. He was wide open. Instead, what does he do? He makes up his mind that I'm going to go into the painted area and get a higher percentage shot. There's the steal. They're off and running. And they look for one another. There's Boatwright. Nice little hesitation. Again, could have easily. And nobody in the gym would have faulted him for pulling up and shooting that 3. Instead, what does he do? I know my team's down 2. We need a shot here. Puts it on the floor and gets all the way to the rim.
Dry sits with his 4th foul. Yet another lead change.
UConn picking up full. Ooh, little sloppy play there by Tulane. Not ready for the inbounds play.
Turned it over again.
Stark that time came to the ball, but he looked like he wasn't ready to receive it. Now they're giving the ball back.
He had motioned that it was a turnover, UConn ball. He changes it now. It will be Tulane.
It looks like on that exchange there, Samuel from behind perhaps got a hand on it. Good call there by the officials.
Stark on the run. Dump. Osakowski had a body underneath him. Nolan was down there.
And before Osakowski took off from the floor, he was worried about where he was going to land. You could see him almost looking down right there to kind of brace himself. Nobody was underneath him. He anticipated falling on somebody. Did not happen, and I think that may have thrown him off concentration-wise.
I think he was happy to have Samuel there. He got his right hand on his shoulder.
Go dunk it and then hang on the rim and let the bodies come up from underneath you. Referees will let you hang on the rim if it's to protect you from falling awkwardly.
Just go up strong.
That's it.
So Nolan picks up his fourth, and the 53% free throw shooter makes the first.
Big guys aren't out there to be cute, Brad. We're out there to be forceful. Make a statement.
Another miss at the line. You see 7 ties, 10 lead changes. Biggest lead by the Green Wave has been 6 here in the second half. Purvis to the rim. Oh, it's in and out.
But you can see the approach that UConn is taking now. Limit our jump shots. Get to the rim against this 3-2 zone because there's only 2 guys back protecting the basket.
Henson can't buy the 3.
Wouldn't be surprised if I see UConn penetrate in these last 4 minutes of this ball game.
Kevin Ollie wants a full timeout. Purvis going baseline, trying to get the work done. That's down, isn't it?
Oh, you would think you hit every bit of the rim and then it comes back out again. Not to be.
2-point lead for UConn. This is a big game for both of these teams.
Well, we talked about Tulane's struggles last week against Temple, and even UConn, losers of 2 of their last 3 on the road here, trying to right their ship. And we take a look at the standings again. Tulsa sitting up on top. SMU very, very closely behind them, and Temple, who we saw a couple times here on our network, a big win against Kansas earlier in the year. Their resume solid thus far.
Gonna be a fun month of February, isn't it?
No question about it. The big games are still in front of us, Brad.
Well, the national champs are here. It's the only time Tulane has hosted a defending national champ here at Devlin Fieldhouse. Gotta go all the way back to.
Are you going back to before you and I were born?
Yeah. 1959 is a little bit before both of us. Kentucky, 85-68, the score of that one. So I didn't pull that out of my recent memory banks. Jim Calhoun.
Early childhood memories.
All relaxed for this one.
Boy, he didn't look like that when he was sitting on the sideline. What a difference about 10 feet up in the stands makes, huh? Much more relaxed.
Well, free throw line is going to play an important role in this last 3:45.
And penetration as well. Let's see whether or not they can get into the heart of that 3-2 defense. First half, settle for jump shots. Second half, making a concerted effort to get into that painted area. Although, Brad, not painted here in Tulane.
Purvis gets the roll this time.
More penetration. It's been the key to their comeback in the second half.
Stark wanted to dump it off, did the no look. No need for the no look as he was in the paint.
But Nolan was able to get to it again. Throw the ball up to the big where nobody else can get it but him. That time kind of telegraphed it right to Nolan.
Purvis, deep.
That's a huge shot. The baseline defenders got to get out there a lot quicker. You've got to contest that shot.
Largest lead of the game is 7 now for the Huskies, and 44 is taking it over.
Huskies again not settling for the jump shots, penetrating and getting high percentage shots. Purvis on that last change, and then the good ball movement. Find the hot hand.
Oh, that's a heat check for 44.
And you can see the reaction there from his teammates as well after really kind of a lackadaisical performance for the first 35 minutes of this game. A little fire amongst the ranks.
Purvis now with 14 on the night. We talked about trying to find somebody else other than Boatwright to get the offense, and they found it in Rodney Purvis.
And I thought that whoever it was going to be to step up needed at least 12 to 14 points. I know that looks like I'm just predicting it now, and it happens to be
I
turned
remember
out.
you saying
but
it.
But they need a double-figure score. It can be almost anybody on any given night, but somebody has to help out Ryan Boatwright. And today, it's been more than one guy. Nolan's done a good job. Calhoun's done a good job. Hamilton's done a good job. It's not just Boatwright here this afternoon.
Hook for three, short. Nolan the rebound. Question is, where will the offense now come from the green wave?
And you've got to ask yourself, UConn has changed their approach, and it's been to good effect. Right now, Tulane has got to also do the same thing. Stop settling for jump shots. Get to the basket. If nothing else, you get high percentage shots, or you get fouled and you get your points from the line. But you've got to make sure that you don't go down there again with wasted trips.
Oh my, 44 is taking it over. Rodney Purvis.
Good ball movement, good cutting without the basketball, and what we've seen here is UConn buckets at the rim. That's the difference here in this game.
7-0 run, and all 7 of those have come from Purvis.
And they've all been, with the exception of the 3 in the corner, all from practically point-blank range.
Herlihy with a head fake. Now he's in trouble. Stark was fouled before the shot.
And after a first half of a lot of perimeter jump shots, how did UConn get back in this ball game with a 9-point lead? Penetration. Simple as that.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by the all-new LG G3.
Frenchman Street, where all the good jazz clubs are. A little sweet music leads us into the Reese's perfect play. 44's been sweet.
He sure has. He's been effective. Rodney Purvis, as of late, getting him back in this ball game, knocking down perimeter jump shots, but more importantly, getting to the rim. You see right there, not settling. Lane wide open. Great recognition on his part. Defense slow to rotate over, and it's been all Rodney Purvis as of late. Mix in that little corner 3 as well.
And for a team that has struggled offensively, they found it over the last 3 minutes. 6 of their last 7 from the field.
And no secret, Brad, it's not settling for those long-range, low-percentage shots, but instead putting your head down, knowing that the contact is coming, being strong with the basketball, and heading into that painted area.
Stark gets a pair, down by 7.
Now Tulane picking up a little full court.
Boatwright trapped, calls a timeout. Kevin Allen.
Tough place to inbounds the ball right there in the corner. Your most experienced ball handler fortunately had it in his hands and did the right thing. Quick timeout.
Coming up next, South Florida at Cincinnati. Chris Atterbury, Steve Wolf, Lauren Gardner on the call.
The Wolfman is in Cincinnati.
Wolfman gets to hang out at home.
That's not even a road trip for him, right?
Or for Lauren Gardner, she gets to just cross the river and come on over.
Do you think he gets per diem for that?
I'll bet he puts in for it.
Whether or not he gets it's a whole
I know you, Wolfie.
Want to wish them a great game. We've certainly had the good fortune of watching one here this afternoon, haven't we, Brad?
Yes, we have. As you said, weren't sure what you were going to get with these two. UConn has turned it on in the second half like they've needed to. Down by 3 at the break.
Gotta get it in.
4-9, and that one's kicked out of bounds by Henson.
Got to get it in, and the problem is he's not allowed to run the baseline, so he's got to pass it from that area. Not a lot of room in that corner, especially with Peyton Henson draped all over you. Good inbounds. Smart decision, but a good inbounds and a pass ahead by Samuel to get the ball to their best free throw shooter.
And Hook fouls Boatwright. That will send him to the line.
And we mentioned Boatwright shoots it at an 82% clip. What a luxury it is, Brad, when you've got your ball handlers who are in the ball game at the end of the game who can knock down free throws. Because what you don't want is guys that are out on the floor who are going to hurt you if they do get fouled. So it's a huge luxury to not only have your best player out on the floor, but have your best player out on the floor when you need him most, when it's time to hold on to a lead.
He's got 15 on the night. We talked about him over the last 5, averaging 17 in the second half. Well, he's shooting 63% from the floor, 50% from threes in the second half over the last 5 games as well.
And he's only had 5 points here in the second half, make that 6, but they've been important points, and more importantly, their approach on the offensive end of the floor. That means instead of shooting perimeter jump shots like they did in the first half, now they're taking it to the basket. Has made all the difference in the world.
Foul before the shot, but double bonus time. See, Tulane just doesn't really have the offensive firepower to come back from 9 down with 1:18 to
and
go.
The versatility. They don't have. They may have 1 or 2 guys, but they certainly don't have any more than that they can rely on night in and night out. It's Dabney and Hook, and as you see right there, that's 5 fouls for Nolan. And Brima, who has 4, is going to be his replacement.
Brima's not a guy you want to come in. Tulane wants to see coming in with 1:18 to go and desperate need for points.
Well, especially if Coach Conroy is telling them, make sure you get to the basket, get as close as you can. Well, Brima is that last line of defense. In case you haven't watched him, it's what he does.
Dabney good on the first, his 9th point of the night.
Be interesting to see whether or not either on a miss or a make on this Dabney free throw does Tulane continue to pick up full.
I'm not sure they have a choice.
They've got to, and you got to go for the foul right away. Steal, you don't get it, you got to foul right away.
And Hook fouled Brima. Wanted to make sure it was known that he fouled Brima.
Smart. Brima, 64% free throw shooter.
I think Hook had him in a half Nelson. I don't know whether they still call him half Nelson.
Vince McMahon would have been proud. Probably watches a lot of WWE.
Defending champs in the tourney last year. Last 5 minutes or OT. 65 of 70 from the line.
Think of all the experience. Not only did they lose Shabazz Napier, Tyler Olander, among other people that were there for both national championships. So you talk about, and DeAndre Daniels also leaves the squad. This team would have had, with Daniels in the lineup, a Robin to Boatwright's Batman. But Daniels headed out elsewhere, in Australia, I believe, right now, from what last we were told.
You think he's rethinking his decision to leave or stay?
Well, you leave the safety net of UConn where everybody takes care of you. You're still a student and you're a priority to these people. Now you get sent to the Toronto Raptors. They don't need you. They send you to Australia.
Triple from Dabney. 1 minute to play, down 6.
Still picking up full.
Dabney with a steal. Mack can't get the roll. Thought he had it halfway down.
It would have probably been a little bit better served if he would have gone one more dribble and tried to attack the rim that time instead of shooting that little floater. Here they are on the offensive end. There's Dabney, knocks it down, and then they're picking up full. They wind up with the steal, and maybe he had Boatwright right there. Go right at Boatwright. Make him defend you.
And he was backing up.
And he was backing up. If you can't shoot over that 6-foot guard, Ryan Boatwright, you got to work on your game.
Leaving the door open. (17 for Purvis).
A 54% free throw shooter, knock him down.
USF at Cincinnati next. Stark, corner triple, that won't go. Henson knocked it out of bounds, but they will say it was off Purvis. It will stay with Tulane, 39-3 on the clock.
Boatwright fighting in there amongst the trees, trying to grab that rebound. He grabs 4 Knight. Certainly used to crash in the boards. Love your point guard digging in the lane there to get those long rebounds.
Osikowski in from Mack.
Looking for Hook.
Hook in the corner. Step back. Triple. That's short. Osikowski. No. Tip no. UConn ball on their foul. Just can't get the roll on the last 2 possessions.
And if you're Coach Conroy, you can't draw up a play that gets you a better look than that. Point blank range. I'm not even going to say 1 foot away. I'm going to say about a half a foot away. Just unable to convert the little chippies.
Well, even before that, Hook was wide open as his defender hit the ground hoping to draw a foul.
And
he
if
had a wide open 3.
And Hook's decision making, I'm questioning a little bit, because the defense falls. Take that 1 or 2 dribbles, get closer to the basket. It doesn't matter whether you score 2 or 3 right now. It matters that you score and you stop the clock. Probably settled for that when he probably could have drove right to the lane.
Samuel good on the first. Osikowski back out now from Mack.
Samuel, one of those good ball handlers who also knocks down free throws, shoots 74% from the line.
Samuel makes the lead 9.
And UConn, despite the lead, still picking up full court. Intent, try to have Tulane take up as much time off the shot clock.
Dabney.
We thought about it.
Short on his 3, and that just about do it. Samuel crosses the timeline.
Well, after losing 4 in a row on the road, this has got to feel good if you're a Husky fan. Much needed win here in the Crescent City.
UConn had to have it. They were down 3 at the break. 4 and 9 on the year when trailing at halftime. But they came back and got it done. Take a look at the standings in the American Now, quickly updated. UConn now at 6 and 4 in conference play, and they need them all. For Ala Abdelnaby and our entire crew, I'm Brad Johansson. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. We send you now out to Cincinnati. Bearcats hosting South Florida. Chris Atterbury, Steve Wolf, Lauren Gardner standing by. Thanks for joining us.